I remember the exact moment my marriage ended. It was a Tuesday evening, and I had spent the entire afternoon preparing dinner. I made Mark's favorite pasta with fresh basil from our garden. I roasted vegetables the way his mother used to make them. I set the table with real napkins and lit candles because I was desperate. I was trying so hard to reconnect with my husband, to feel like we were a team again. Mark came home at 6 o'clock and seemed distracted. His mother, Patricia, was visiting from her apartment across town, and she was sitting in my living room like she owned it. She was wearing one of my cashmere sweaters without asking. When we all sat down to eat, I felt my nerves spike. I wanted them to enjoy what I had made. I wanted everything to be perfect. I had been craving for months to feel like we were a family again. But Mark didn't taste the food. He looked at his mother and then looked at me with something that felt like pity. Pity. My own husband was looking at me with pity. "I need to tell you something," he said quietly. "I've decided that my mother is going to make all the household decisions from now on. Vivian gets overwhelmed by those kinds of things, and it's just easier this way." Patricia smiled. It was a cold smile that made my skin crawl. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I just sat there holding my fork, feeling like someone had suddenly reached into my chest and grabbed my heart. "I trust my mother more than I trust you," Mark added. Those words would change everything about how I saw myself, my marriage, and my future. That night, I confronted Mark in our bedroom. I was shaking with anger and hurt and confusion. My hands were trembling as I closed the door. "What did you mean by that?" I asked. "That you trust your mother more than me? We're married, Mark. I'm supposed to be your partner." Mark sighed like I was being unreasonable, like I was being emotional and irrational just by asking for basic respect and honesty. He turned away from me and started undressing. "You're being needy," he said. "You're being too sensitive. My mother is just trying to help." "Help with what?" I asked. My voice was getting higher. "With our home, with our life. Mark, this is our marriage. We make decisions together. That's what marriage is." "You get overwhelmed," Mark said. He said it like it was a proven fact, like I had told him I got overwhelmed multiple times, like this was something we had discussed and agreed on. "My mother doesn't get overwhelmed. She's strong. She knows what she's doing." I heard Patricia moving around in the guest room next door. I realized she was probably listening to this conversation, that she was probably enjoying hearing my husband reject me. The thought made me feel sick. "Just follow her lead if you want this marriage to work," Mark said. Then he rolled over and went to sleep without looking at me. I lay awake all night feeling like I was drowning in my own home. The next day, Patricia started rearranging furniture. She moved my couch to a different wall without asking me. She reorganized my kitchen cabinets completely. She told Mark that the guest room should be redecorated in a more modern style. She told him that the bathroom needed new fixtures that were more expensive and luxurious. And Mark agreed with everything. He didn't even consult me. He just nodded and told his mother to do whatever she wanted. I watched my home transform into something that didn't feel like mine anymore. I watched Patricia make decisions about the space where I lived and slept and spent my life. I watched my husband support every change without asking for my opinion. It felt like a betrayal every single time. When I tried to suggest that maybe we should discuss these things together, Mark dismissed me completely. "You're being difficult," he said. "Just let my mother handle it." Patricia started leaving notes around the house with new rules. This room was for this purpose. That room was for that purpose. Dinner should be at exactly this time. The house should be cleaned in exactly this manner. Breakfast should be prepared before 6 in the morning. I felt like a guest in my own home. I felt like a stranger in my own life. I felt invisible. One evening, Patricia suggested something that made my blood run cold. She said it while I was standing right there, but she was addressing Mark like I wasn't there. "Vivian should probably move to the guest room," she said. "It would be more practical. I could have the master bedroom since I'll be here permanently now." Mark considered this like she had suggested something reasonable. Like asking my wife to move out of her own bedroom was a normal household decision. "No," I said. It was the first time I had said no to anything in weeks. My voice came out stronger than I felt. No, that's my bedroom. That's our bedroom. Patricia smiled like she had already won something important. That night, I cried alone in my bathroom with the water running so they wouldn't hear me. I cried because I didn't recognize my marriage anymore. I cried because my husband had chosen his mother over me. I cried because I felt completely alone in the house where I was supposed to feel safe. My shoulders shook as I tried to muffle my sobs. I had to be careful. I couldn't let them hear me. If they heard me crying, they would use it against me. They would say I was being emotional. They would say I was unstable. When I finally stopped crying, I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were red and swollen. My face looked tired. I barely recognized myself. That's when something shifted inside me. A voice in my head said something very clearly. No one else is going to protect you. No one is going to stand up for you. You have to protect yourself. I made a decision that night. I was going to start documenting everything. Every decision Patricia made. Every time Mark supported her over me. Every way they treated me like I was less than human. Every cruel word. Every humiliation. I bought a small notebook and started writing in secret. I documented when Patricia rearranged furniture and what Mark said about it. I wrote down every rule she made. I saved copies of the notes she left around the house. I took photos of the changes she made. I didn't know why I was doing this exactly, but some part of me, some instinct, told me that I would need this evidence someday. That night, I overheard Patricia talking to Mark in the kitchen. I was upstairs, and their voices carried through the house clearly. "Soon this house will be ours," Patricia whispered. "She won't know what hit her, and when she's gone, we can finally live the way we want to." I pressed my ear against the door and realized something terrifying. They were planning something. They had a plan for me, and it wasn't something good. It was something deliberate and calculated. I discovered the account by accident one Saturday afternoon. I was looking for a document about our car insurance in Mark's desk, and I found a bank statement for an account I had never heard of. It had both Mark's name and Patricia's name on it. My hands started shaking. I pulled out more statements. Then I realized something that made me feel physically sick. All of Mark's salary went into this account. All of it. Every single paycheck went to this joint account with his mother instead of to our household account where our bills were supposed to be paid. I looked at the withdrawals carefully. Patricia was taking money out regularly, for groceries, yes, but also for things I didn't understand, for her car payments, for her medical bills, for spa treatments, for entertainment at restaurants. Then I saw something worse, a withdrawal in my name. Money that had been taken out using my information, using money from household funds that I had contributed from my own part-time job. They had used my money from the household account to fund their secret account. They had used my contributions to give Patricia more spending money. My hands were trembling as I put the statements back in the desk. I realized that I had no control over our finances anymore. Mark had systematically removed me from all financial decisions. Patricia and Mark had complete control over everything. They had systematically isolated me financially. I felt like the ground had opened up beneath me. The next day, I tried to talk to Mark about what I had found. I approached him carefully, trying to explain that I was concerned about the joint account with his mother. I tried to sound reasonable and calm. "That's none of your business," Mark said coldly. "That's my money." "It's our household," I said, my voice was shaking. "We're married, our finances should be joint." "You're being paranoid," Mark said. He said it with such certainty, like it was a diagnosis. "You're being too emotional, you always do this. You get upset about things that don't matter." "It matters to me," I said. My heart was racing. "Mark, you have a joint account with your mother. Our money is going into that account. I'm concerned." "You're unstable," Mark said. He said it like a fact. Like I had been diagnosed with something and everyone agreed that I was unstable. "You need to stop being so emotional about everything. You're embarrassing yourself." I tried to argue, but Mark just walked away from me. He left me standing in the kitchen feeling like I had done something wrong for asking questions about our own finances. Later that evening, he told me something that crushed me completely. "My mother thinks you've been acting paranoid," he said. "I told her you were upset about the account. She thinks you're becoming mentally unstable. I think you should apologize to her for doubting her." Apologize to her for questioning a secret account. Apologize for being concerned about our finances, for wanting to know where our money was going. I realized that Mark and Patricia had formed an alliance against me. They had decided together that I was the problem. They had decided that I was wrong for questioning them, and there was nothing I could say that would change their minds. They had already made up their minds about me. I called my sister that night. Her name was Kate, and she had always been there for me. I told her everything. I told her about the dinner table humiliation. I told her about the secret account. I told her about Mark saying he trusted his mother more than me. The silence on the other end of the line was terrible. It seemed to last forever. Then Kate spoke, and her voice was full of concern. "Vivian, this is manipulation," she said. "This is emotional abuse. They're isolating you. They're making you doubt your own mind. This is serious." "What do you mean?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Deep down, I already understood what was happening. "I mean that Mark is choosing his mother over you," Kate said. "I mean that they're working together to make you feel crazy. I mean that this is how abusive relationships escalate. This is serious, and you need to get help." "I can't get out," I said. My voice sounded so small. "I'm married. This is my home. What would I do?" "Vive, they're trying to isolate you," Kate said. "They're removing you from financial decisions. They're making you feel like you're the problem. They're making you question your own sanity. This is how it starts. This is how people lose themselves completely." I didn't want to believe that my marriage was over. I didn't want to believe that Mark was capable of doing this to me deliberately. I wanted to believe that there was some misunderstanding that could be fixed. But some part of me knew that Kate was right. Patricia announced the next day that she would be managing all the household finances. Mark agreed immediately, like they had already discussed this without me, like they had already made this decision together before they even told me. "What do you mean?" I asked. My voice sounded desperate. "I mean that I'm taking over the finances," Patricia said. She said it like she owned me, like my opinion didn't matter, like I was just part of the household furniture. "You can't do that," I said. "This is my household too." "Mark has agreed that it's best," Patricia said. "You've proven that you can't handle financial decisions. You get too emotional." I looked at Mark. He was looking at his phone, deliberately not making eye contact with me. He was avoiding my eyes because he knew what he was doing was wrong. "I deserve a say in how our money is spent," I said. "No, you don't," Patricia said. "You deserve what we decide to give you." I felt my chest tighten. Patricia added something that made me understand the full scope of her plan. "I'll also be deciding what chores you do," she announced. "I'll make a list every morning and you'll follow it exactly. If you don't do the chores properly, there will be consequences." I felt like I was living in a nightmare. My own home had become a prison, and my husband was the guard. My mother-in-law was the warden. I realized that Mark had completely abandoned me. I discovered the documents by accident one morning. I was looking for something in the filing cabinet in Mark's office, and I found paperwork that made my heart stop. There were documents about eviction, about removing someone from a property, about legal procedures, pages and pages of legal documents. My name was on the documents. They were planning to evict me from my own home. My husband and his mother were actually planning to remove me legally from the house where we had lived together for years. I found another document. It was signed by Mark. I didn't understand all the legal language, but I understood enough. He had signed something that Patricia wanted him to sign, something that affected me, something that could change my life. My hands were shaking as I photographed the documents with my phone. I asked Mark about it carefully. "What did you sign?" I asked. I tried to sound casual, but my voice betrayed my fear. "Nothing important," Mark said. "Just paperwork." "It looked like legal paperwork," I said. "It had my name on it." "It's not your concern," Mark said. He said it coldly. "My mother handled it." I realized that Mark had signed documents that could potentially affect my rights to my own home, and he didn't even want to discuss it with me. He didn't even think I had the right to know what he had signed. I was truly terrified now. I met with a legal advisor in secret. I told her everything. I showed her the documents I had found and photographed. I explained the situation with Mark and Patricia. I told her about the secret account and the eviction documents. She listened carefully, taking detailed notes. Her expression grew more serious as I talked. When I finished, she looked at me very seriously. "First, I want you to understand something," she said. "You have far more legal protection than you think. Second, your husband cannot evict you from your home without going through a legal process. You are a spouse. You have rights. Third, everything you've told me suggests that you need to protect yourself legally and financially immediately." "What do you mean?" I asked. "I mean that you're a married woman," she said. "This home is marital property. You have rights as a spouse. Your husband's mother has no legal authority over you whatsoever, and the documents you found suggest that they may be planning something illegal." "What should I do?" I asked. "Document everything," she said. "Keep records of all financial transactions. Protect yourself legally. And most importantly, understand this, you have more power than you realize." I left her office feeling like maybe, just maybe, I had a way out of this nightmare. The breaking point came on a Thursday evening. Mark and Patricia ganged up on me in the living room. They were yelling about everything I had done wrong. I had folded the towels incorrectly. I had cleaned the kitchen wrong. I had made a meal they didn't like. I had left a dish in the sink. It was relentless. It was cruel. It was calculated to make me feel small and worthless. I just sat there listening to them attack me. I didn't fight back. I didn't cry. I just let it wash over me. But inside, something changed. I hit emotional exhaustion. I ran out of energy to fight them. I ran out of energy to defend myself. I ran out of energy to care what they thought. For the first time in months, I felt nothing. That night, I began storing crucial documents in a safe place that they didn't know about. I rented a safe deposit box at a different bank. I opened a private bank account that Mark couldn't access. I started copying files and storing them on a password-protected device that I hid in my car. I was preparing for war without them, even knowing it. Patricia took complete control of everything in the house. She controlled the kitchen and what was cooked. She controlled the schedule and when things happened. She decided what guests could come over. She decided what hobbies I was allowed to have. She made a rule that I couldn't go out without permission. She made a rule that I couldn't talk to my sister without her being present. She made a rule that I couldn't have any privacy whatsoever. I was treated like a servant in my own home. I was told what to cook, when to cook it, how to cook it. I was told what to clean, when to clean it, how to clean it. Mark supported every rule without question. He enforced every rule. He had become her enforcer. One day, Patricia announced that she was planning a party. She would invite people to my home. She would take charge of everything. I would help her, but she would be in control. I would not be acknowledged as the hostess. I would just be the help. I realized that she was going to use my home, my space, for her own social purposes, and I had no power to stop her. The party was horrible. Patricia invited her friends over. She showed them around my house like she owned it. She told stories about how I was incompetent. She made jokes about how Mark had needed her to come take over because I was such a failure as a wife. Everyone laughed. Everyone supported her narrative. No one defended me. No one said anything kind. At one point, Patricia pulled me aside into the kitchen. She leaned in close so no one else would hear what she was saying. "You're nothing here," she whispered. "You're just here because Mark allows it. Without me, you'd be nothing. You'd be alone. You have nothing without us." I looked at my mother-in-law and realized that she believed what she was saying. She truly believed that I was worthless. She truly believed that I existed only because they allowed it. I swallowed my tears. I didn't cry. I didn't react. I didn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me hurt. Something inside me died that day. Hope died. Love died. The belief that my marriage could be fixed died. I became someone else that day. I became someone harder, someone colder, someone who was done asking for basic human decency. After that party, something changed in me completely. I stopped reacting to their cruelty. I stopped trying to defend myself. I stopped trying to make them understand me. Instead, I became very quiet. I became very calm. I became very deliberate. I also made a decision about the finances. I stopped contributing to the household account. I had my own account now, and I started putting my own money into it very carefully. Mark and Patricia didn't notice immediately, but eventually they did. A legal document arrived in the mail that day. I opened it carefully. It was from my lawyer. It was confirming my rights to the property. It was confirming that I was a legal spouse with rights and protections that no one could take away. I filed it away carefully. I would need it soon. I could feel it coming. Bills went unpaid. The electricity company sent a notice. The water company sent a notice. The mortgage payment was late. Mark panicked. Patricia panicked. They realized that without me contributing to the household finances, they couldn't maintain the house. They realized that they needed me in ways they had never admitted. Mark came to me demanding to know what I had done. "What happened with the bills?" he asked. He sounded angry and confused. "I'm reevaluating my financial contributions," I said calmly. "I've decided that I need to protect my own financial future." "You can't do that," Mark said. "This is our household." "It's my household too," I said, "and I have rights." Patricia demanded something that made me laugh, actually laugh for the first time in months. "Give me access to your bank account," she said. "No," I said simply. My voice was steady. My resolve was solid. She looked like she had never been told no in her entire life. Mark screamed at me. He actually screamed. His face turned red. His voice became hoarse. He said things that were so cruel and hurtful that I wondered how I had ever loved this man. Patricia called me ungrateful. She said I was selfish. She said I was destroying the family that she had worked so hard to build. I listened to everything they said. I stood there in my own home and listened to my husband and my mother-in-law attack me verbally. And I felt nothing. I was completely calm. I was completely in control. "I'm protecting myself," I said quietly, "and I won't stop." Patricia's face turned red. She looked like she was going to explode. "We'll fix you," she hissed. "We'll make you understand your place." But I had already found my place. My place was away from them. The next day, I presented them with documents. I showed Mark and Patricia everything I had documented, every cruel comment they had made to me, every financial transaction they had made without me, every way they had treated me. I showed them the recordings I had made on my phone. I showed them the copies of the documents they had signed without my knowledge. I showed them the evidence of the secret account. The room went silent. Mark's face went white. Patricia looked like she was going to explode. "From now on," I said calmly, "I protect myself, I document everything, and I do not accept any more disrespect in my own home." For the first time, they had no response. I revealed something that shook them completely. I told them that I had consulted with a lawyer. I told them that his mother had zero legal authority over me or my home. I told them that Mark could not force me out without going through a legal process that could take months or years. I told them that I had more legal protection than they had ever imagined. Patricia's face went gray. "This is my home too," I said, "and I'm not going anywhere." Mark looked like he wanted to say something, but he couldn't find the words. "You thought you could control me," I said. "You thought you could push me around and I would just accept it, but I'm done accepting it." Patricia snarled at me. "We'll see about that," she said. But we both knew that I had won this round. A few days later, Mark suddenly became different. He became gentle and apologetic. He said he missed me. He said he was sorry. He said he wanted to fix things. He tried to hold my hand. He tried to kiss me. He tried to pretend like the last months hadn't happened. I felt nothing, absolutely nothing, no spark, no emotion, just emptiness. His apology was too late. His kindness was too late. He had chosen his mother over me, and no amount of sudden niceness would change that. "I need to tell you something," I said. Mark looked hopeful. He thought I was going to say that I forgave him. He thought I was going to take him back. I wasn't. "I'm leaving," I said. "Not permanently, not forever. But I'm leaving this house, and I'm taking my time and my energy and my emotional labor with me." Mark's face fell. "What do you mean?" "I mean that I'm done," I said. "I'm done trying, I'm done caring, I'm done being treated like I'm worthless. I'm going to stay with my sister. I'm going to figure out what I want. And when I figure it out, I'll make a decision about our marriage." "Vivian, please," Mark said. "I'm sorry, I'll change. I'll tell my mother to leave." "You should have done that months ago," I said. "You should have chosen me when it mattered." I packed a bag and left my home. I walked out of my marriage and into an uncertain future. But for the first time, I felt free. Without me, the household fell apart completely. Mark and Patricia fought constantly. They argued about who should clean. They argued about who should cook. They argued about bills that needed to be paid. The house became dirty. Food went bad in the refrigerator. The laundry piled up in corners. The bathroom became filthy. They realized how much work I had been doing. They realized how much I had been taking care of everything. And they didn't know how to manage without me. Patricia screamed at Mark. "We need her," she yelled one evening. "We need her to come back." But I didn't come back. I stayed with Kate and I healed. Mark left crying voicemails on my phone. He said he missed me. He said he loved me. He said he would do anything to fix things. Patricia called my sister begging for me to come back. She said she had changed. She said she would give me another chance. I didn't respond. I stayed with Kate, and I went to therapy, and I started thinking clearly for the first time in months. Eventually, Mark begged me to meet with him. He said there were things he needed to say to me. He said he wanted a chance to explain. I agreed to meet with him, but I set the rules this time. I met Mark at a coffee shop. He looked terrible. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were hollow. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. "I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I was weak. I let my mother manipulate me." I listened to everything he said, but I didn't feel moved by it. "You betrayed me," I said calmly. "You chose your mother over your wife. You allowed her to humiliate me in my own home. You signed documents that could have taken away my rights. You made me feel crazy, and you did it deliberately." Mark started crying. "I know," he said. "I know I did, and I'm sorry." But his apology meant nothing to me anymore. I chose divorce, not because I was angry, not because I wanted revenge, but because I understood finally that Mark had shown me who he was, and who he was someone I couldn't trust anymore. He had chosen his mother over me. He had allowed me to be humiliated. He had gaslighted me and made me question my own sanity. Those were not things that could be forgiven or forgotten. Those were not things that could be fixed with an apology. The divorce was not easy, but it was necessary. Mark lost his comfortable home. He lost his wife. He lost everything because he chose his mother. Patricia lost her control. She lost her power. She lost access to me and my home. I left with my dignity intact. I rebuilt my life slowly. I went to therapy to process the trauma. I spent time with my sister. I reconnected with friends I had lost during the marriage. I moved into an apartment that was small but was mine. I made decisions without asking for permission. I went where I wanted and did what I wanted. I found joy again, not because I had forgotten what Mark and Patricia had done, but because I had stopped letting them define me. I learned that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply walk away. Sometimes the best revenge is giving people exactly what they chose and letting them live with it. Mark and Patricia had chosen each other over me. Now they had to live with that choice. They had to live with the consequences of their cruelty. And I got to live my life on my own terms, finally at peace, finally free.